I'm just...
Your legacy, how did you get there? When did you decide that you were going to pick up this legacy and make sure that people knew about the Cusic John Hurt?
Wow. Everything that I've done these last 30 years has been, it's been calling. It's, to me, as a long-time educator, I take on this belief as I've taken on the foundation. Teachers are not people that go to school. It's a calling. It's like a ministry. Okay?
Yes.
And so this, to me, is what I'm doing is a ministry. And I started on this journey some 30-some years ago. I took my kids to a House of Blues, and they had a program there. And they allowed the teachers to do whatever, and while they taught the kids blues. And I just went exploring in the House of Blues, and they had this huge mirror of my grandfather. And I went up to it and I read it, and all the information was incorrect. And I spoke to the manager, and like, hey, this is not right. He said, well, we are franchise. I can't help you. I said, okay. So I started, to direct this way. And I started calling around. And I wasn't concerned so much, God forgive me, about the royalties and the thing. And I just, just realized, this, here, this is just not right at all. And I said, well, I got to do something to fix this. So I met this attorney, and I went downtown Chicago. I decided I was going to get an attorney. And it just so happened that I met this attorney. She had just came back from London. And she said, and I just bumped into her, just literally bumped into her. But all of this has been just a miracle. Everything I've done has been just a calling, and God has just opened doors, and it's just been miraculous ever since. And I met this attorney, and she said to me, I told her what I was trying to do with one attorney, and she said, what do you need? And I was telling her about my grandfather, and I just wanted to see if we secure some of his rights back. And she said, you know what? I just was in London, and they played your grandfather's music, and she said, and she said, I'm a fan. And she connected me with all of the attorneys from. She hired 3 attorneys for me. They were copyright lawyers. Wow. They were farm attorneys, and she hired an attorney here in Mississippi because of right. So the attorney contacted, and they had to get an attorney to make sure, because the Mississippi law says that we are no party, because your father's dead, and so we can't do anything. But if your grandmother is of sound mind, and my grandmother at the time was she was 98. She was 88, and she passed away at 111, but she was 88 at the time. Wow. And so the lawyer, they had to determine whether my grandmother was of sound mind, and she said, yeah, she was of sound mind, and she said, these are my grandchildren, and these are what I want my rights to go to. And so she was able to see things back in that thing, and the rest has been history. I fought all the way to the state Supreme Court, and he said, well, you don't have any rights, and the judge was, Tom Hoskins had passed away, but Suzanne Brown was alive, and her husband is an attorney. So they hired these big attorneys in Greenwood, and the day before the trial, we went to Oxford courthouse there, and our attorney quit the day before we were supposed to court. So when I walked in the courtroom by myself, and so when he saw me just coming in, and so the attorney said, well, we can just go home. I mean, this is, and I'm like, why? Go home. And I'm like, no, we're not going any place. I mean, I'm going to be my own attorney. I mean,
all right.
Fine. Yeah. And I started telling him what that my grandfather fought for. This was my grandfather's legacy. I mean, how in the world can you take away? I'm a grandchild. This man, he doesn't even know my grandfather at all. How can you give him 100% rights or somebody? You own this man from the grave. That's crazy.
But it gives the, I'm gonna make a popular culture reference here, it gives that scene in, Ray.
Yeah.
When Ray said he wanted to
Own
own his
his
own
own
masters.
That's right.
Right?
Mhm.
It gives it a whole different feeling.
That's right.
Right.
Mhm.
It does.
Go back and wait. Just go back and say your lawyer did what before when?
The day before, the day, we were supposed to go to court, that Wednesday, he called us that Tuesday night, well, you give me $15,000, we can, we'll go to court with, otherwise we on your own. Now, we scraped up everything, sold everything, everything with drugs to get this money for this man to go to court with us, and he quit. The day
And you
before.
say you did what? You walked in that house?
Yeah, I was trying to explain to the judge, that my grandfather had, that he worked for this, that he, how in the world, you make me understand.
But you say when you walked in that courtroom, you walked in there what?
And the judge.
It's our own attorney.
Right. So the funny was,
But she didn't put it like that at first. You say you walked in the house.
She was married.
no, I was.
She said she was by herself.
No, but
Ray,
no.
now was she by herself?
Not at all.
Ray, was she by herself? I'm pulling you into this. I'm pulling on you while you got your quiet. But Ray, was she by herself?
Not at all. I know.
He set the playing field up. You see what I'm saying? He set the playing field up, put everything in it that you needed for the game. Do you feel what I'm saying? And when it came time for you to bet, you was where?
By yourself.
You were by yourself with who?
With the law.
I'm through, y'all. Just say, it was not meant for you to go in there with nobody else. It was meant for you to go in there with the Lord.
Because he might have said something different
That's
than what
it.
you
Then
were
what?
saying,
That's
and you would have
it.
lost.
That's it. You're never. Didn't I tell you the day earlier? Didn't know you from Jack Beanstalk.
Y'all hear this.
Didn't know you from Jack Beanstalk.
This bondage here.
But I told
the
you.
camaraderie.
You were never alone. God is always with you.
right.
He's
That's right.
always on your side.
That's right.
You understand me? Didn't I tell you that? And you had no idea who I was.
Absolutely.
Baby, y'all better listen. Y'all better listen.
Order. It's lunchtime. Where's my order? Excuse me. Order.
Y'all better listen.
I thought it was lunchtime.
You're never by yourself. Let me tell you something. The first festival I ever did for my dad, a girl was telling me, she said, you need to have a festival for your dad. Now, these was some shiesty people telling me this, okay? They told me I need to have a festival, but they didn't tell me how. They knew how. I got up, I went in my backyard. I said, Lord, you know. You know. I went back in my house and went to sleep. I'm having a festival every year since then. People, I put it on Facebook. All I had was Facebook, baby. I had nothing else. Didn't know nobody. And the people that say that they love your people, they love my dad and this, that, and other, turned their backs on me. Wouldn't help me get a 401c, wouldn't help me, that kind of way. Do you hear me? But one person, there was Kid Duchesne. Him and Dad was just like this. But other than that, when I put it on Facebook, stuff just started following. Oh, I can get you to do this. I'm going to get you the right person. I'm going to get you a lawyer. I'm bring the stage. I bring the fan. Baby, we got one of the biggest festivals there is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? I'm telling you.
They really have a nice
I'm
group.
telling you.
They really do.
The day that they named, I wanted my street named after my daddy. The day they named the street after my daddy, AT&T went down. Couldn't nobody call nobody. And I heard something out there that I'm looking like, what in the world are these folks doing? You know, just they were drilling the thing in the ground. When that man got the truck with my daddy's name on that sign, I couldn't do nothing but lay in the road. Sometimes God wants you to experience stuff by yourself because it's just for you.
That's
Only
right.
for you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you what's up now. You better listen.
That's right. Preacher, how did you, because this is interesting that you're minister of the gospel, but you are out here promoting your legacy. Tell us how you came to that.
I would say, let me reflect all the way back to my grandmother. We all have came to the agreement, and we all know that the blues comes from the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
My father himself.
Or the gospel comes from the blues.
From the
Well,
blues,
yeah,
yeah.
the gospel, the gospel, but the blues comes from the gospel.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
All right. So let me go back to my grandmother. My father was one who sung in the church choir as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have uncles. I have cousins that are preachers. They're pastors. And my father was one of the ones who went on the other side of the fence. So that he would sing the blues. He said, I don't want you singing in the blues. So he got him an old Sears and Roebuck guitar. He worked, he got him a Sears and Roebuck guitar.
That was back when they had mail order catalogs.
Right. And I was sitting
For the young
here,
people.
right. I was sitting here listening, and sometimes a blessing can come in the form of a curse.
All right. All right.
To us, we feel as if we're being done wrong, or we feel as if we're being pushed down. My father was drafted into the military, and he was put off of the plantation because he refused to pick cotton another day. So they drafted him into the military. This is my father. And by the Lord, blessing him to be able to lead the cotton fields of Mississippi and to travel in the United States Army, he blessed him to be able to finish school. He blessed him to be able to be around people and meet people. God blessed him where he was able to teach us
All right.
to continue to push forward and to continue to push his legacy forward. Now, he was educated to a certain point, but my father had what you would call mother whip.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that he did not understand, he was not going to sign his name to it. He was going to always get somebody else to take care of it for him. Now, as far as his legacy, we were taught to carry on his legacy. He always taught us, I'm not going to be here always. Now I teach my children the same thing. I'm not going to be here always. Carrying on his legacy, he went and bought me a guitar. He put my fingers on the frets of a guitar. And he tried as much as he could to get me to hold that guitar with the right hand. And he said, you know, I believe you're going to be like Albert.
Okay.
You're going to be like Albert King. And I learned to play a little bit. I would play it upside down. And he kept on letting me play it. He went and brought my brother drums. So he was a man that kind of looked into the future. He believed in preparing. I have a son as well. He would get out into the house and beat on pots and pans. And one day my mother-in-law was keeping him, moving as expeditiously as I can. My mother-in-law was keeping him, and she said all he wants to do is just beat on pots and beat on pans. And I thought about it, you know, I said, well, maybe we need to get him a drum set. So he started playing the drums. He mastered the drums. And then he went to the guitar. We bought him a small guitar. And this is something that my father did for me. Going back to what we said, we have to train our children in the way we would have them to go. And we bought him a guitar. He learned the guitar. Well, we bought the guitar, then he learned the piano.
All right.
Now he's learned the piano, and the older son is teaching the younger son how to beat the drums as well.
All right.
We have our children are musically inclined, and I just believe that when you carry on your parents' legacy, sometimes it's a thing that's taught. We have to instill in our children to carry on our legacies, and I have a passion for music. And like I said, the blues is a feeling. And sometimes when I'm standing, or I sing as well, sometimes when I'm standing after I finish the sermon, I put a special twist on it, a special feeling with the songs that I sing. So even though I'm the pastor, but I was born of a blues musician, and I carry on his legacy. And sometimes if you would look among the congregation, you would kind of think that you were, as the old folk were saying, a juke joint. I was listening to you all saying about how you have the different bars and stuff. So you know what's in you is going to come out. That's right. So many times legacies are handed down.
Exactly.
Handed down. As we're here today, I just believe that we should pick somebody out in our family that has a passion for it and hand it down.
Exactly.